Hello, Woodbridge. Dr. Zega here. Today is Friday, May 29th. It is the conclusion of week 11 of distance learning here in our school district. It's also the last Friday in May. As graduation approaches, we had the big announcement this week from Trenton that the in person ceremonies would be allowed after July 6th. The problem with that announcement is, and what wasn't announced or publicized, is right now we have a 25-person maximum gathering rule. So, in other words, you can't have a gathering with more than 25 people in it. That rule is still in effect, and it pertains to graduation ceremonies. So, with 25 people maximum, that would include graduates, their guests, their families, the dignitaries, the staff. We would only be able to graduate between 5 and 10 seniors at a time. So that means that we would have to have at least 30 graduation ceremonies per high school. We have 3 high schools. So it was unfortunate and a bit misleading that Trenton came out with this big announcement. And I know when I read it and when I heard it, and I'm sure when everyone else heard it, they thought that, okay, after July 6th, we can have a graduation with all of our graduates on the football field as long as they are 6 feet apart, and we can have 2 parents as long as they remain 6 feet apart, and everybody has masks and everybody complies with the social distancing guidelines. But that additional guideline of maximum 25 people at a gathering, that is a big problem. And that is a deal ender as far as we're concerned. We can't possibly comply with that. And I don't know, quite frankly, I don't know any school districts in New Jersey who can, unless they have 10 graduates in their high school class. So we continue to flip and flop and turn and comply and revise our plans. Right now we have 2 plans. The one is the one that we talked about for the drive-in ceremony at the Woodbridge Center Mall, and that would be 3 days in June, June 10th, 11th, and 12th, with Colonia High School on June 10th, Woodbridge High School on June 11th, and JFK High School on June 12th. And they would all be evening ceremonies. And we have video and audio and big screens that we have planned so that all the graduates can have their pictures on the screens when they're announced. And you'll get more details about that from your individual principals. The July 6th ceremony, we're still have in the works, and we have our plans for that. But right now, as I said, that ceremony seems improbable at best. Now, the governor said that the 25-person maximum rule may change, but even if 25 people becomes 100 people, it's still 100 people total, which means that number again would include the graduates, their families, the school staff, the school the dignitaries, everybody who's been giving speeches. So we would still not be allowed to have the entire class gathered at one point to enjoy the ceremony together. And I know you're frustrated, and I know that you were given hope this week, but that was false hope, and that false hope is worse than no hope. And we understand if you're upset, and we understand if you're not happy, but we really have no choice. We have to comply with what we're being told. The problem is we're being told something different every couple of days. And we feel your frustration, and the principals have been working very, very hard to make sure that that the graduates are given the best possible ceremony or the maximum possible ceremony. But at this point, it looks like we're going to go with the drive-in ceremony. The details will be given. You'll get the details from your high school principals probably later today or early next week. We realize graduation is less than 2 weeks away, and we are trying to make things work. But as I said, unfortunately, the administration and the board is committed to doing whatever we can, the most we can, but still remain within the guidelines that were given. The other thing about the July 6th graduation, too, is right now the number is 25. We believe that number will go up as far as how many people you can have, but that number can also go down. It is possible that, if we get another spike in cases here in New Jersey, that the 25 maximum people in a gathering could become 10 or 5 or 0 at some point. So we're not, although we anticipate that number to go up, there's no guarantee that number will go up. And there's no guarantee that a month from now we will be allowed to have the graduation ceremony in person. So like I said, that more information will come from the high school principals. So as we start to wind down, I'm sure your principals at all levels have told you or communicated to you what you need to do as far as returning school materials, as far as retrieving your belongings from school, whether it's in your locker or the elementary from your cubbies or your desk. You know, we're working to close out school and make sure that we can clean over the summer. So those directions are coming from your principal. If you haven't heard anything, please call them. We, now that graduation is somewhat settled, or will be soon, our attention will turn to reentry. And as I've said, reentry is going to depend on the safety of our students and staff, and that will determine what type of reentry plan that we will have and what school will look like in September. The one thing's for sure is it will most likely not be the type of school that you left. Public education in the world has changed, and it's changed drastically. But I can assure you that our team is working on possible scenarios, and we will have the best possible plan to not only educate our students, but also to keep our students and staff safe and healthy. So I have been recognizing different groups of people throughout the year, throughout our school closure during distance learning. I had the pleasure a couple weeks ago to meeting with a great group of parents from CPAG and from PACE, the parent organizations for our special needs students. And I could tell you that I've never been more impressed with the group of parents who are solely dedicated and so positive about advocating for their children. These students and the families, they face many challenges, and distance learning has been quite challenging for many of them, as it has been for every single student. But today I'd like to recognize all of our special needs students, our PACE organization, our CPAG, our RISE students, especially our RISE graduates, and I'll speak more about them next week, but our RISE students who are graduating and aging out of their program. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Stay the course. You are really impressive, and you're an inspiration to all of us. So kudos to all of our special needs students and parents. So that's it for week 11. I wish there was better news on graduation, but unfortunately there's not. As I said, we will finalize our plans either later today or early next week. So like I said, it's frustrating, and we know you're frustrated. We are frustrated, but we can only do what we're told we can do. So either way, we'll have a final decision soon on graduations. Middle school graduation and elementary stepping up, those really haven't changed. There's no way we can accommodate a middle school graduation, the one that you're used to. The main rule for any of even the high school graduations, the in-person ones in July, is they have to be outside, and middle schools just don't have the facilities to have outside graduation. So middle school and elementary, they'll be okay. So thank you, farewell, keep up the great work. The end of the school year is approaching very, very quickly. Have a great week. We'll talk again next week, and God bless America. Thank you.